Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name's David and this is a Magic Review. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Today we got another review for a product from TCC Magic. They're killing it. They're killing it lately. I don't know why I say lately. I don't, because technically they're always killing it. They're always killing it. It seems like every week, or at least every month, I got something fun from TCC Magic to show you. Today, we're gonna look at Shutter Frame. Shutter Frame from Massimo, TCC Magic, 35 bucks. What is Shutter Frame? Shutter like picture shutter, okay? So that's what you wanna think of. It's a frame, it's a black metal frame, okay? And you can do this trick in a couple of different ways. You could do it as they can visually see a card in the frame. Okay, there's a little hole cut out of the back, and they could see a card there, and then you could show it to them, say like it's the Queen of Hearts, and then you could shake it, and then it would turn into a different card. Okay, so the shutter, right, on the picture, the shutter, can change the card from this to this. That means it could also become a different colored card. So you could have a red card turn into a blue card, right? But you can also rig this so that it does other things. So it could look like it's empty and then a card appears. Or in reverse, you could have a card appear and then empty. Or you could change it to other flat objects. So let's say you could change it into an index card that had a drawing on it. So if they said, oh, I'm thinking of a car, you could take it and shake it, and then an index card would appear with a car on it. Or you could turn it into a dollar bill, right? So you could take the card, could give a little shake, and it turns into a bill. So it's a multifunctional frame, okay? That said, it takes a lot of arts and crafts to get to that level, okay? And normally I would take the box apart at this point and show you all the components that are inside, but I can show you the pictures instead. I can show you the pictures from the website, and this is pretty much exactly what you're getting. For your $35, you're getting the outside box that you carry everything in. Inside of that, you're getting the black metal frame that opens up like a bifold wallet, let's say, or a clamshell, okay? It's just gonna open up. And you will open it up in front of the spectator. So, whereas other effects you might think that, well, there must be something in there that's hidden that I wouldn't want them to see, in this case, you could open it to take the card out. And then once you open it, they're kind of inspecting it. They're seeing, oh, wow, there's nothing else in there. You know, I saw you slide in a blue card and a red card came out and there's nothing else in there. You know, where did that other thing go, right? But along with that, along with the frame, then you're getting the magic gimmicks. One of those things is a stencil. You're going to use that stencil to create your gimmicks. So you don't get a gimmick, let's say, to turn it into an index card or a dollar bill. That'll be something you have to make. If you want your force card to be the Queen of Hearts, or you want your indifferent card to be the Jack of Diamonds, you'll have to make that yourself. And then you're going to make that with a razor blade, and you're going to make that with a ruler. You're going to line it up with a stencil, and you're going to make your object, okay? So, forewarning, there's a lot of arts and crafts on here, and that is reflected in the 1 hour and 10-minute tutorial. Now, TCC does not normally make videos that are that long. And when I saw 1 hour and 10 minutes, I was like, oh my goodness, they're probably going to teach me a lot of magic. No, they're going to teach you a lot of arts and crafts, okay? The first 36 minutes of this video is arts and crafts. I'm just letting you know, okay? Yes, you get a few gimmicks that will work right out of the box. And if you're fine with those gimmicks, they're just playing cards, right? If you're fine with those gimmicks, then you're done. You're done. You don't need to do any arts and crafts. But should you want to do any of the creative things that I talked about earlier or that you see in the trailer, you will need to bust out the X-Acto knife, the ruler, and spend some time. And the irony is, it took 36 minutes for them to work out all the kinks in the gimmick and to explain how to do everything. And then he said, I hope that brief tutorial helped. And I was like, brief? That was 36 minutes. That wasn't brief. That was long. That was It's a lot longer than arts and crafts that I like to do. And it's pretty involved. So let's talk a little bit more about the video. Like I said, it's 1 hour and 10. They're going to run through quickly how it works. So if you wanted to take the parts out of the box and just do it really quickly, you know, you could. All right. They'll show you right away how it works. Then there's the large arts and crafts section with lots of instruction. Like I said, 36 minutes. And then they'll do some tricks. So the first trick is you have a card selected and lost, and then you turn an indifferent card. And they say, oh, it's the magician gets it wrong ploy, right? So you take the wrong card, you put it into the frame, shake the frame, and it turns into the right card. Then they'll take that same premise and show you how to do a sign card. So let's say the spectator assigns a card, goes into the deck, you turn an indifferent card. How does it become the sign card? Well, then you can make the sign card appear in the frame. They'll also teach you a trick that involves some palming and sleight of hand where the card leaps out of the frame. So they see the card in the frame, you shake it, and then a flash, your other hand is holding the card, and the card that was in the frame has vanished. And then, like I said, they'll show you how to do card to dollar bill. And then they'll show you how to use that same premise and do a color changing deck. Now that one felt like a little bit of a throwaway. It sounds more exciting than it really is. It's you taking the cards out of the box, but then not showing the color, and then laying the frame on top of the deck, and then shaking the frame, and then the card they see through the frame has changed color, and then you remove the frame, and then there's the deck. So it kind of felt like an extra add-on effect. I don't know how practical that is or why you're using the frame to change the color of the deck. It makes all the sleight of hand go away, and it's certainly very visual. You could do it online, but it kind of felt like just an add-on effect. Pocket space. Let's do all the questions. It's just the frame, right? The frame is the same size as, say, like the pencil through the window pane, right? It's interesting that I say that because there's two beginning level tricks, kids tricks, things that you see sometimes in magic kits that I think that this trick is very similar to. And one of those is that window pane effect. You know, the window pane effect shows the solid plastic, and the nail goes through and comes back out, and then you hand it out and it's solid plastic, right? And it's the effect is created by a locking mechanism and sliding, right? There's another trick where you have a big white plastic frame, and there's 3 windows in it. You know this one, where you take the Queen of Hearts and you slide her in, and then you're able to move her midsection out, and then slide her midsection back, and then the whole card comes out? That trick, shutter frame feels exactly like that. It feels exactly like that, but now you are privy to the inside of the frame, whereas in the old trick, that other card is kind of locked in there and you can't change it. In shutter frame, it feels like that trick, but now you get to control what happens. So picture that sliding out midsection queen trick, right? But now in an upscale metal frame where the same kind of thing is happening, right? There's some things there's mechanisms that are moving around on the inside, but now you get to be the person that creates the trick. So you get to do red or blue, or a court card to a number card, right? A card to a dollar bill. You get to pick, but you have to create it all, right? You have to create it all. And slice and difficulty, not hard, right? You're not doing anything. Once the gimmick is made and ready to go, it's self-working, completely self-working. There's nothing to do in the moment. In the moment, you are free to build a routine, work on presentation, work on a character. You don't have to worry about anything. It's going to do it all itself. But to get to that point is a lot of setup and reset. A lot. Positives, it looks like real magic. It looks like real magic. It looks like it would be great for social media. It looks like it'd be great for real life. When you watch the trailer, the transitions look so smooth, so clean, so perfect, and yes, it can look like that in real life. It absolutely can, okay? Negatives. The gimmick is very precise. And that means when you create your gimmicks, they have to be precise. When you put everything together and close it and lock it and say, okay, it's ready to go, that has to be precise. And then you need to practice it and make sure, like, okay, is it ready to go live? Is it gonna work 100% of the time for me? Is it gonna hit all its cues? Because this gimmick, at least for me, had a tendency to sometimes get stuck, to not fall exactly, lock in place exactly like it should. And this was the gimmick that they included, not the one I made, the gimmick that they included, right? And sometimes, depending on how you hold the frame, you can still kind of see the edge of where that gimmick is inside the frame. So it hasn't vanished completely because and this is part and parcel that they made the frame black, you know? If you've ever seen the segmented queen trick, usually that frame is white, so that when you slide things in and out, you're not noticing that there's other white edges in there, okay? But with a black frame, you stick white cards inside that have white edges. When the frame should be empty, I shouldn't see any white edges. Sometimes you still can. Not saying it happens all the time, but if you know where to look, it's possible that the gimmick can flash. So I'm just saying, it can look exactly like it does in the trailer. I had a difficult time getting it to look that clean. But that could mean I just need more practice, right? That could mean I need to refine my gimmick a little bit better. It could even mean I need to color in the edges of my gimmick black just to make it vanish. I'm sure there's tweaks. And like I said, social media, it'd be fantastic, right? And this is a great social media trick. And I do think though it will work in real life. It really will. But the whole contraption, like I said, is just very precise. And when it is that precise, it can be a little finicky. So it just means that you have to have some patience and be willing to put the time in to make it perfect, okay? So shutter frame, Massimo, TCC Magic, $35. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, and while I got you here, let's do one more review, right? Why not? Let's do a bonus, okay? So 2 for 1. This is Enigma Stick from TCC Magic. You can pick this up for about $18. You're gonna get the parts and a 14-minute video. What is Enigma Stick? Well, in a nutshell, Enigma Stick is these 2 pieces, okay? And it's sort of a puzzle, sort of a magic trick. It's very similar to the locking toothpick trick. So if you know that effect, it's pretty much done the exact same way. This is the one where you have a toothpick over here between these 2 fingers and a toothpick over here between these 2 fingers, and you show them apart and then you lock them together like that so that you can't get one out from the other. You'll be able to separate them, pull them apart, and then hand everything else out for examination. And again, with your $18, you're gonna get those 2 pieces, right? You'll get the little piece of magic that you need to do the effect. And if you know the locking toothpick trick, you know, right? And the 14-minute video. In the 14-minute video, they're just gonna walk you through what you get, how to do the trick. They're gonna give you like a Harry Houdini style routine to talk about how to make the pieces examinable, which isn't hard, and then how to continue to care for the props and maybe even use some magic stuff that is preferable to you that they don't include. So they kind of cover some bases. But like I said, 14 minutes, they don't have a ton of time to cover all of that. But it's a fun little trick, right? It's familiar probably to a lot of us that already do the locking toothpick trick. I guess the danger is that it can end up looking too much like a puzzle and not a magic trick, so it's going to depend highly on your presentation and your pattern. But it's a super fun trick, and you can pick it up at TCC Magic. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.